The first thing I want to talk to you about is this $20 bill. So with the recent passing of Representative Cummings, and we know that the Trump administration has pushed it back to 2028, what can a regular citizen like myself do to convince the administration to push it up in order to honor Representative Cummings and, better yet, honor Harriet Tubman?
Well, what we're telling people to do as a family and things like that, we're saying write a petition. Get as many names as you can in your community, your church, your family, as a group together and send it to the White House. Call your representatives, talk about that and, the importance of it. She fought in the Civil War. She's an American patriot. She deserves to be on that money.
Everybody is fascinated by their DNA, and that all came about way back in the 70s when Alex Haley came onto the scene with Roots. It made people really, really curious about their lineage if they didn't even know at that point. With you being related to Harriet Tubman as her great-great-grandniece, what was it like for you the very first moment you realized that woman was your relative?
For me, it was just another aunt that I was learning about that did something extraordinary because my grandmother knew her. The way she spoke of it, she said that they were just a family, just doing things as families do them, surviving from day to day, living their lives from day to day, continuing to do the things that they were doing before. Like with her, she was continuing to help people.
I read this one story where you were talking about a teacher walking up to you and asking you that.
Yeah, that was in high school. I had been learning about African American history, seemed like all my life, from home, from my church and other venues. So I said, well, I'm gonna do English Black literature. But I was leaving my homeroom after this happened. My homeroom teacher stopped me, which I was in a hurry to get to my next class, and she stopped me. She said, Ernestine, she said, is it true that you are related to Harriet Tubman? So I just stood there looking at her because I was dumbfounded and amazed because I said, I haven't told anybody that. The last time I said anything was when I was very, very little. I'm thinking in my mind, how does she know that? But then I opened up my mouth and I said, yes, it's true. And then I scurried off to my class. I did not ask her how she knew or anything like that. I wish I had, but I hadn't.
You were like, I'm really trying to have this conversation right now. Bye.
Right. Being a teenager, you know how teenagers are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how that happened. Yeah.
I love that story. I really wanted to ask you that story because I thought that says so much about how protective people can be of their lives. I feel like you scurrying off was a natural, innate protective mechanism. You wanted to protect who you were. You wanted to protect your lineage. You didn't want to misspeak or have somebody misunderstand what was coming out of your mouth. So you were like, okay, I'm out. I'm just going to leave.
Yeah, it possibly could have been going through my mind. But my siblings, I talked to my siblings about it just recently, and they said, the same thing happened to them. That's what they said. They said, we learned early, too, not to say anything.
That's a shame. Yeah. I hate that. I hate that you all went through that, but you're saying something now.
But you know what? My granddaughters, the same thing is happening to them.
Really?
Yeah. See, they told me that. They said the same thing is happening to them. I said, you know who you are.
Exactly. There's been a whole lot of talk, especially this year, about reparations. And I just wanted to know what your thoughts were about that and the government making some kind of ruling in favor of that particular item.
I think that reparations are due us, but the reparations I feel that are due us is what they took away from us and tried to keep from us, which was being educated. So I think that that's the reparation that's due to us, in my opinion. Different people may have different thoughts on it, but for me, it's education, because I know that education was always spoke of in my house as your way out, as your way of taking care of yourself, as your way of expanding your mind, the mind that they said that you didn't have. So it was all about overcoming that struggle and not believing what the hype was, in terms of how they tried to keep you down by doing certain things, and education was one of them. So I feel like that's what to do is that education.
I wanted to know if your Aunt Harriet was here right now, what's the one conversation you would want to have with her? If you could have one conversation with her, what would that be?
About her faith. That's what I would talk to her about, because her faith was unwavering. Her relationship with God was sealed. It was She just had so much confidence in him. She felt like she was a nobody, when she first heard his voice within her and herself. She felt like she was a nobody. But he told her, he convinced her. He said, you are somebody. And you are somebody that I want to do this. And so that's when she acquiesced. That's when she said, okay, it's on, God. We're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Okay, I just want to hang out with you. You are hilarious. You really are. And last but not least, I want to talk to you about how satisfying is this for you right now to experience this moment where your Aunt Harriet's story is finally on the big screen. Her entire story, not snippets, but her entire story.
I love the film. The movie is accurate, and it shows her soft side. It shows her loving side. It showed her being able to love a man and being loved by a man. It showed her persistence. It showed her determination, her courageousness, her fierceness, being fierce when she had to be. And it showed her faith and her love for family and for people. For somebody that couldn't read or write, she did exactly what God told her to do and what he said in his word for all of us to do. She took herself out of the center and she put other people in it. And that's how she lived her life. I love her for that. I'm in such awe of that in her. When I see certain things and about her and talking about her, it just makes me tearful. And see, I feel like I've come to know her as a person, not as just an ancestor, not somebody that, because my grandmother would always say, okay, let's go visit Aunt Harriet. And like a little kid, I'm saying, I don't know her. My grandmother knew her. And she always said Aunt Harriet, Aunt Harriet. My mother always said Aunt Harriet. But she didn't become Aunt Harriet to me until I think I read the book on Sarah Bradford maybe twice. It was the third time that I read it, and what was the connection for me was her faith. That's what made me start feeling Aunt Harriet.
Well, I think that's a great place to end on. Miss Tina, thank you so very much for sharing your thoughts and your feelings and your memories about your Aunt Harriet. I wholeheartedly appreciate it. I'm sure everyone will love the film, and they will at least love knowing more about Harriet Tubman than they knew before they walked into the theater. So thank you.
Yeah, well, see, that's the big thing. She's on the big screen where everybody, all nationalities, all races, all people can see her and be inspired by her, and that's what's important.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you. I really, really do appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.